This Italian sausage, the one going into the pan right here, this is made from tofu. Let me tell you how. First up, we just need to drain our tofu. We're not going to be pressing it or anything like that, but we are just going to be breaking it into small bits because we're going to be using the tofu as the texture of this. I'm just going to break the tofu down into small, randomly sized bits and pieces. We're not really trying for anything specific here. Now, there's a lot of really random things that happen in my head all of the time, but I have no idea why I didn't put this mashed up tofu into a bowl before I started seasoning. But we're going to start with just a few pinches of salt, and we're going to add about a teaspoon of lightly flavored oil. I'm just going to be using a sesame oil. Now I'm just going to mix that up, gather it together, and then divide it in two. Now it's really funny, I was going to cut this out of the video, but I dropped some tofu, and then me cleaning up the tofu from the floor was a riot. I was crying while I was editing this. I was laughing so hard. Okay, back to the video. So I'm actually dividing this up into two because I want two different textures, two different flavors, two different, variation is the master of all of this plant-based meat in my opinion. So I'm just going to get a baking sheet covered with some foil, take half of this tofu and toss it on the baking sheet, and now let's season up the other half. Now we're just going to start with some onion powder, garlic powder, smoked paprika, the smoked part is really important, and then some liquid smoke, red wine vinegar, a little bit of soy sauce, some agave or maple syrup, and then I'm just going to be using some nutritional yeast to kind of bring out some more of those meaty flavors. Now we're just going to mix this up, and I know I didn't give you any measurements because I really honestly just poured it all on there. I really just wanted to keep everything fairly even. We were just kind of going for a multitude of flavors from earthiness, a little bit of sweetness, and some glutamate to give that pork kind of taste. So all we're going to do now is just toss this onto our baking sheet, and I have my oven preheated at 400 degrees. We're going to bake these for about, I hate when I leave stuff in the stove. Okay, so we're going to bake these for about 30 minutes, allow them to dry out, which is going to toughen up that tofu and make it more pork-like. So after the 30 minutes, you can see the tofu's cooked, it's dried out, and look there's the difference, exactly what I was looking for. So we're just gonna scrape this off of the aluminum foil because it's stuck and, that's what happens. And I'm just gonna toss the dark side into a bowl, and then we're gonna start adding some more of our binding ingredients and the rest of the meat of this. First up is gonna be some extra protein. Now you can use any protein source that you like soy protein, this is mung bean protein, you can use pea protein, but we're using a quarter cup of protein along with a quarter cup of textured vegetable protein. You can use a half a cup of chickpeas if you want. Substitute how you like. Now I'm also going to be using about a quarter teaspoon of beetroot powder, some onion powder, chili powder, some smoked paprika, and I ended up using a tablespoon of red pepper flakes. Realized that was probably too much and picked some out. I also used some fennel seeds, oregano, basil, and Italian parsley. Now my favorite binder ever is methyl cellulose. This stuff works incredible when replicating the texture of meat. So we're going to be using 1.5 tablespoons here for this. Now for the liquid, I'm just going to be using a quarter cup red wine vinegar and a quarter cup water, and we're just going to mix this together. That's really all this needs. The tofu still has some liquid in it, so it's going to help hydrate everything up. Now once you have this completely mixed, it should be kind of almost like a paste. Now we're going to crumble in the white tofu, crumble that in, mix it up, and here is your Italian sausage. But I want to let these hydrate up a little bit, so let's let them sit for about 30 minutes, which is plenty of time for today's sponsor.
If you've been cooking at home for the last 2 years, you have noticed how some prices are rising. Inflation is impacting us all, and who knows when rates are going to be back to normal. We all need to try to make our money work for us. But when you take a look at the news, traditional investments like stocks and bonds are doing pretty badly. In times like these, it's important to not only find financial stability, but also growth potential. And today's sponsor takes an innovative approach to investing. It's not stocks and it's not cryptocurrency. It's an asset that both the wealthy and people like you and I can appreciate. It's contemporary art. Now sure, you know that historically masterpieces have sold for millions of dollars. But with Masterworks, you can invest in museum-grade art for a fraction of the price. I'm talking Picasso, Banksy, Monet. You don't have to be an expert to know these names. They buy the paintings and qualify them with the SEC, which allows you to invest in shares. They take care of storage, and if they sell for a profit, you can see returns on your investment. And at 8 of their 9 exits so far, they've delivered net returns of over 13.9% to their investors. Nearly 600,000 people have signed up so far, and with the demand, Masterworks is launching new paintings on a weekly basis. So gang, my subscribers can get priority access to new offerings at the special link in the description below. Masterworks, thanks for sponsoring today's video and providing such an incredible opportunity to invest in contemporary art.
Okay, we're back. So we're going to be using rice paper as the skin. Now back in the day when I was being a little sciencey, I was always using calcium chloride and sodium alginate to make the skin for my sausages. That's exactly what Beyond Meat does and Impossible does to make their sausage casings. But when you're at home, something like this, rice paper, it's easily accessible, it's easy to work with, and it's cheap. And this works pretty dang good. Now, I used to like fold up the rice paper on the ends, but really it comes out if you twist it and then just pinch it off at the end, it comes out even more realistic. I mean, and this is gonna hold up. So I already let these hydrate for half an hour. I'm gonna make 4 sausages out of this pound of tofu meat that I made here. And then we're just gonna get a pan ready, but I'm gonna be making like an onion and pepper topping for this. So this is gonna be really simple. We're just gonna chop up some red peppers, green peppers, and a little bit of onion, toss it in the frying pan with some melted vegan butter, allow those to cook down for a few moments, add some salt and pepper, a little bit of oregano and basil right when you get to the very end of it after these have cooked down. Then last, I'm gonna add about a teaspoon or more of some tomato paste. Let that cook down a little bit. We're actually gonna cook that tomato paste into the peppers, and then right before we add the sausages, I'm just gonna pour just a touch of water into this, mix it up, and now you have some really nice saucy onions and peppers that is just gonna make an amazing topping. Now let's just throw the sausage in the pan with a little bit more vegan butter, brown it on all sides, and let's toss this in the bun. For these buns, I'm gonna be using chow. It's a vegan cheese. It's a really mild flavor, could be kind of provolone, which is gonna work perfect for this. And toss in the sausage. This looks really good. These buns are too small. Top on some of the peppers. I mean, look at this. This looks really good. I wish I had a bigger bun, but let's see what Monica has to say. Oh my God.
It's really good.
Yeah. That is wildly good.
The texture is really meaty. I don't even know what this is made out of.
This is tofu.
I wouldn't have even known that. The texture is like extremely meaty, like it's like a Beyond sausage, basically. It's like a regular, it just tastes like a sausage. I mean, I would say it tastes like, hard to know if it's even a vegan sausage. It's got like a really crisp outer shell. Not super crisp, but a nice and crisp outer casing. Even when I pull it apart, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see
yeah, there's like a
casing
skin
there. Yeah.
I mean, and it's like the texture is super firm. I mean, it's sliceable, perfectly sliceable. Like you could almost like slice like you could almost like slice like pepperoni out of this. Look at that.
It looks really cool too.
Yeah, that is a good sausage. Okay, so
Digging it.
out of all the sausage I've made, this might be the best one.
This one is really good.
It's really good.
Like, it's indistinguishable, like, from a vegan meat, like a Beyond or
Like a Beyond,
Impossible
yeah.
sausage. Like, I would not even guess this is tofu. This is crazy to me.
This is by far the best tofu creation I've made. Heck yeah. More like meat, you know?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's probably better for you than some of the Beyond.